Thanks so much, Megan, and thanks again to Baker Boyer Bank. You've got a great group of people here, and we really enjoy all the support you give to the Chamber. I'd also like to thank and recognize our friends at Charter Communications and Richland City View over here on the side of the room. They're taping this, and we'll have information later in the program about when these broadcasts will be available for you.
Our first presentation today will be from West Richland's Mayor Pro Tem Rich Buel. Rich was originally elected to the West Richland City Council in 2001 and is currently serving his second term as Mayor Pro Tem. While he's only been in office for 8 years, Rich has been active in the community for many years through his background in broadcasting and communications. Rich is currently a public affairs specialist at the Hanford site. Prior to that, he spent 4 years as the voice of the Tri-City Posse, 7 years as the Director of Public Information for the Kennewick School District, and 6 years as a television news reporter for Keeper in Pasco. He tells the story of shooting video at Road 68 in Pasco, where all that could be seen for miles was a plywood sign that read, "Future Home of Track." He covered Richland news when that elephant slide they're talking about refurbishing and bringing back to Howard Amon Park was still being used. In Kennewick, Rich remembers when someone had the crazy idea that hockey would be a success in the desert, but before the Tri-City Americans came to town, residents stepped forward to reserve season tickets by purchasing puckbucks. As the Tri-Cities has continued to grow and prosper, so too has West Richland. It's no longer that sleepy little town of 3,000 residents. Ladies and gentlemen, to give the state of the city for West Richland, please welcome Mayor Pro Tem Rich Buel.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mayor Donna Noski sends her regrets for being here. She had a previous commitment that she could not get out. Sends her regards. I'd like to thank also the Tri-City Area Regional Chamber, Lori and Bill, for having us here today. The city of West Richland has more than 50 years of history. At one time, the city name was Enterprise, and that's a fitting description for the activities and the people that live and support the city. It's kind of like James T. Kirk and the Star Trek story. We're boldly going where we've never been before. West Richland has an economic development strategic plan. We see wine tourism and other industry in its future as we support the economic diversification vision. Not going to lie to you folks, the city does have a vision, but it also faces some challenges. Among them, we have to revitalize one of our main east-west arterials, Van Giesen Street, also known as State Route 224. It's one of our top priorities and progress is being made. Another challenge is the fact that we're not as populous as some of our neighbors, and so we often get overlooked. Still, in some ways, we're okay with that out in West Richland. We may not be big enough to land a big box store, but as Councilmember Merle Johnson has said in the past, West Richland is also the only community in the area with a sign that says, "Please dismount and walk your horse across the bridge." Now, what we lack in our population, we more than make up for in the things we can control. And that is the fact we have great potential and lots of things happening in the not too distant future. Give you an idea of how large the city of West Richland is. Believe it or not, you can fit Kennewick in the city of West Richland. We have more than 8,000 acres of developable land within the city limits. It is next to the Port of Kennewick's 92 acres. We're adjacent to the Red Mountain AVA. We are looking to provide services so that area can develop. West Richland supports the regional economic and diversification strategy to build new economic bases and create some new jobs. So what's West Richland's ticket to success? Well, we take our agricultural heritage, couple it with the wine industry, add support of the greater region's economic strategy, and we combine them. Several years ago, the City Council and staff embarked on an effort to provide more than $15 million worth of water and sewer extensions, building out Keene Road to Red Mountain, expanding our sewage treatment plant. How about that for a story during lunch, huh? How's our sewage treatment plant doing? We also want to accommodate the wine industry and attack other wine and industry-related businesses. And that investment is starting to pay off, ladies and gentlemen. In 2007, the city became home to the Pacific Rim Wine Estates, a $7 million investment. It's one of the largest production wineries in the region. Just recently, the facility expanded to house the Washington wines of Essentia Wine Estates, a large California company with 8 wineries, California, Washington, and Idaho. And just recently, Joel Teft has broken ground on our favorite new business, yes, the Black Heron Distillery, the first one in Southeast Washington. Walla Walla may have a small one, but ours is clearly going to be better. There are only 5 in the state. Before you know it, how's this sound? We've got West Richland whiskey, Gross Cup gin, and viticultural area vodka. Now, as mentioned earlier, West Richland is neighbor to Red Mountain. We recently received a federal grant to study how to effectively manage the processed water from wineries. We're applying to expand our urban growth area to support the Port of Kennewick's 92 acres in the Red Mountain AVA. And recently conducted an economic impacts report on how that interchange on Interstate 82 and improvements to the one near Benton City could enhance the regional and the state economy. Our report indicates that we could bring more than 2,000 jobs and $500 million in economic impact to the state and region. Not a bad couple of numbers. Now, West Richland does what we can to support our neighbors while providing some of the best community events in the area. Some of the ways we do that are tourism. The city continues to invest in parks and recreational opportunities for its citizens as well as tourists. The city has invested a great deal of funds, solicited volunteer help and contribution. We've received state funds to expand the sports complex. We also can host other tourist-related activities. Now, these amenities also provide a great place to live for our citizens. And by the way, the fish that you see there, the catfish, caught in the Yakima River. Now, overall, what is West Richland? West Richland's a lot of things. Panoramic views, lifestyle families can enjoy, farming, vineyards, lots of wide open space. You can still dismount and lead your horse into town. The White Bluffs Textile Center, we've got an active senior center, privately owned golf course, parks and trails, but that's not all. West Richland has more than 20 miles of Yakima riverfront, 20 miles. The Yakima wraps all the way around West Richland from the entrance on Van Giesen, around Red Mountain, and adjacent to Rattlesnake Mountain. Much of it's undeveloped, but we have a vision for adding trails and amenities, working with conservation groups and others. Thousands already enjoy the scenic views and the river amenities. West Richland Area Chamber of Commerce. Let's talk about that for a minute. The Veterans Day Parade, wonderful event. Hogs and Dogs, a day of remembrance. We couldn't do all the things with tourism if it wasn't for our friends at the West Richland Chamber. And you know what else? We've got some young people that are showing great leadership in West Richland, including the photo you see at the bottom right. Young entrepreneur promoting tourism in the lemonade industry. Young growing families in West Richland. Of course, we couldn't talk about West Richland if we couldn't talk about hogs and dogs. And oh my, I didn't realize that dog, how did we get a hold of that picture of Steve Young's high school annual? Oh, I'm sorry, that old dog, he's 60 years old today. Oh, okay. No, West Richland with the hogs and dogs, ladies and gentlemen. 4,000 people at least came to see us last year. Bombing Range Sports Complex was alive with Harley. We're still looking to see Mayor John Fox wearing his chaps and riding into town. Lots of things going on with Hogs and Dogs. Wonderful event. If you've not been, please come next year. Tourism, sports complex, concerts in the park, a great series we have every year. All sorts of bicycle trails, lots of things to do, lots of things to see in West Richland. West Richland, one thing I can tell you, the future is very bright. And as we're proud of saying, the best is truly in West. In closing, I'd like to thank our friends that took the photos for us today. They're West Richland residents, Matt McGee, Colleen Lane, Joe Nakora, and Roberta Schoenberg. Ladies and gentlemen, West Richland, we're a player in the Tri-Cities community, and I thank you very much for your time today.